Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Lee Gerstmann. I'm going to do a record review for you. This one, a friend of mine who knows a lot about groups that I don't know, he has turned me on to a lot of interesting stuff that I would not have never heard of before. And so thank you, Elias Dunn, for mentioning a group called Rollerskate Skinny and their album Shoulder Voices. I'll say that if you're like me and you're like, who the hell is that and what's that album? I would say if you're a fan of groups like Jesus and Mary Chain and The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and stuff like that, you really love this group. But I'd also have to say that they sometimes have a sound that goes really wild and they do all sorts of things in a song so that the song is almost like a bunch of cars that just keep going by and you're like whoa 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 and but that's a good thing. They do it in a way that's very controlled, let's say. So the descriptions that I'll give to the songs aren't really going to do them justice. It's sort of like saying something like, um, when you read Moby Dick, you're reading about a guy who wore a raincoat. You know, it's kind of like there's more to it than that. But anyway, I'll go through it as best I can, song for song. The first song is called Misleader, and I could imagine myself dancing with Rebecca De Mornay in a tight black turtleneck tucked into belted jeans to this song. It's a really strange, intense, and cool song. And then Violence to Violence, that sounded like a combination of Stone Roses, Billy Bragg, and Loop. It's really strange. And then all of a sudden, it turns into an awesome heavy rocker in parts with odd electronics added. So it's something unique that I really enjoyed. And then Lunasa, that's like the weirdest version of the Beatles' Hello Goodbye imaginable. It's both very primitive, very bizarre, and inventive. And then Bring On Stigmata, that's what I would say, for lack of a better way of describing it, closest to their own sound. I mean, everything they do is completely originally their type of sound, but to me, it seems more like it's not as reminiscent of other groups, and it has sort of an 80s style, but a very deranged 80s style. And then Bella, that's like a very strange 1960s musique concrete influenced thing. And it sounded very Irish to me, which I think the group is from Ireland. And then Ages, that's like a weird Roxy music. It's very cool, and it has a heavy metal edge that's very strange, that almost works against it but doesn't. It works really well. And then Bow Hitchhiker, that's maybe a little bit less impressive than the other songs. It's a little bit filler, kind of like a noisy Lou Reed and 80s new wave, but it's still it's still what it is. And then Some Give Birth. That's a really cool slow thrash. That sounded strange saying that, but yeah, but it's like a really cool slow thrash with electronic noise, and it's kind of like The Cure. And then Shallow Thunder. That's like an exaggerated Brian Eno, like one of his first albums going haywire. Not bad. And then Slave. That to me seemed filler, but it was like The Cure, but not my thing as much. And then So Far Down, Up to Heaven. It's interesting, and it sounds like kind of like a really odd version of orchestral maneuvers in the dark, but way more weird than anything that group would do. So anyway, from what I understand, Rollerskate Skinny did two albums, and this was one of them. And they're the kind of group that if you encounter it, you might find it to be really intense. So you might only be able to listen in small doses. Or if you're hungry and love that kind of stuff, it might be like you can put all sorts of stuff on your dinner plate. A turkey dinner, uh, tuna, matzo balls, um, lamb chops, mint jelly, sugarcomb cereal, milk, baklava, all that stuff, and just mix it all together and go and eat it in one big swallow. But anyway, that's been my review, and thank you, Elias, for mentioning it. Okay, cheers, everyone.